Hey guys, welcome back. Jet Scott here as always, and today we are working on Dad's Charger. Oh yeah, no tractor stuff today. So Dad has been wanting to do an upgrade on his car because his car handles like well, a school bus.
Kind of like that.
Kind of like a school bus. It's got really loose steering. It's kind of all over the place according to him. And we did this mod on Jezebel, my blue ratty Charger over there, and solved a lot of the steering woes with it. Of course, our coupler was not great to begin with, so Dad wanted to do the same thing. So we got him this part number 013464. It's about $70 from Jigs. It's a 3/4 by 36 spline by 3/4 smooth Borgeson U-joint, and that goes in place of your stock coupler, which is that pile of junk right there. And there are some steering column modifications you got to do, and you got to do some mods to this, but this solves all the slop and any sorts of problems you can have with the steering. And you appear to be having some issues, Dad.
Oh, I was trying to get away from pulling that plate off the floorboard, but because the silicone down.
Oh,
I got to pull them 3 bolts out, and then the whole thing will come out.
yeah, you got to pull all that crap off.
I was trying to stay away from it.
Yeah, in order to take all that steering column out, you got to basically take the whole column out. You got to do some measuring and mocking up, lots of in and out with the steering column, making sure you're getting right, because this don't just plug on and magically solve all the problems. You got to do some true hot rodding to make this fit on here. So I guess we'll get that steering column out of there, and we'll get your car where it steers like it should.
Maybe we'll do some measuring first.
Yeah.
From the face of the gear steering sector to a known point on wherever, like this shoulder here.
Yep.
And then we can back measure.
And we can do that. Okay. So there's your stock steering coupler, and that's held in place by a steel pin that's got a spring clip with 2 blocks that lock into these square edges. And a lot of times that'll get sloppy, so you want to replace it with this bad boy. And it's a little bit smaller diameter wise, but what you get out of it is simplicity and solid, because it's a U-joint. There's no slop there. Yeah, it looks like it's same length, but what you got to make sure is you don't want that steering shaft going too far into here. You only got, an inch or 2 you can go inside of here before you start hitting the U-joint. So that's what you got to watch out for, because that steering shaft goes all the way down into here. Hence why this is not just a bolted on and rock and roll ordeal. That's a good investment right there.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. So we're trying to get Dad's steering column out. Pull it, Dad. Yep. Yeah, you're pulling the steering column. You're actually pulling the shaft out of the coupler.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be pulling the shaft through the bearing, because the steering column housing's not moving, right?
No, you're pulling the whole steering column out towards you, but you're pulling it out of the actual coupler itself.
That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Get it far enough away to take the coupler off.
Yeah.
But can't get it far enough.
Now there's supposed to be a pin. See. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's supposed to be like a locking pin holding your column in place on that coupler. There's a small little pin. And I wonder.
I got that. Oh.
It's a baby pin. And I think, yeah, you need to rotate your wheels. Yeah, that's still in place. There's a little pin right here. At least there's supposed to be.
I already took the dowel pin, the big dowel pin out.
Yeah, there's a little baby pin, or maybe it's on the sides. Let me go grab one of my extra couplers and check it. Yeah, so there's Jezebel's old coupler, and see there's a little pin that goes right there, and that helps lock everything in place, and I think that's what Dad hasn't taken out yet. So this is what you're getting rid of. Now what you got to keep in mind, let me just go ahead and say this while it's the beginning of the video. If you have power steering It's a different size shaft spline count, I believe. Maybe the same spline, but it's definitely a different shaft. So you have power steering and you're keeping power steering, this coupler part number will not work for you. You'll do some research, you have to find the right one. This is specifically for manual steering, because in a Chrysler, a manual steering box has a bigger shaft. So I can't remember what the differences is, but 3/4 what manual steering is, and both our cars are manual steering cars. So, but we're gonna get that bad boy off. We'll check in. Ooh, sexy. Oh, mucho sexy right there. Check it out, man. Alrighty, well, we're back on the charger. Time has passed because my grandpa came by, and, well, spending time with grandpa is way more important than tearing the charger apart.
Yes, sir.
So, getting ready to slide this coupler off. Dad's got to break the seal on his silicone up there. It's holding everything together.
Yes, sir.
I should probably be the one who's going to be lifting the column out, but I guess Dad's going to be a man and manhandle his column. Better also be honest, son should never handle his dad's shaft. Whoa! That'd never be right. So that's gonna be why Dad's having his steering issues, because that piece should never leave that piece. Yeah. You pulled the whole column right out of the coupler. There was no locking pin there holding it on. Yeah, you literally separated the two pieces. Well, there's Dad's coupler, and I don't see any witness of that locking pin ever being there. And I know it's on my 70 column because there's a hole for it. Oh, that should not have come off like that. So now we got this bad boy. Something fell. So now we got to get this pin out, and then we need to figure out how long this needs to be, chop it, slide the new one on, drill through, put a shoulder bolt through there, and be just like Jezebel. Good to go.
So let me give you an old mechanics thing. So we know it's 9 1/8 from the front of the steering sector to the center of this weld. Put our steering column, our steering coupler on there, measure off to how far we want this to dive in, cut it, don't have to worry about taking that pin out.
Yeah.
And then slide this off.
That was the noise I heard. There's a kitten staring at us. You can see her collar.
Oh, this thing dropped too.
No.
The bar.
Oh, the bar. Okay, that's what fell.
So, where's the new coupler?
The new coupler, the U-joint, is right there. So, we need to make sure.
That's hot.
We have to lay out in the sun. Well, we use the set screw on Jezebel. We use the set screw here, and that just kind of locks in place right here on this piece right there, and that's okay. You know, that because that sits right there. But on Jezebel's deal, I didn't want to weld this directly to the shaft because God forbid this ever goes out, you're screwed.
You got nothing.
Yeah, so we drilled through this and put an actual shoulder bolt through it and Loctited it. Originally we had 2 set screws, but that wasn't going to work.
I remember talking to
Roseman
about that.
Yeah.
It can engage an inch without interfering with the U-joint.
Yeah.
So let's just put this on there. Put our little set screw down and go get a little Allen wrench.
Yeah, it'll go on just like that. If you want it to engage. Right in there. So we got U-joint on there. We slid it all the way down the splines. We're gonna let the set screw dig into the splines, and Dad's gonna come back and drill a hole straight through, so that way that can actually lock in place.
Just a little dimple.
Yeah, a little dimple.
Because it's got a lock nut.
Yeah, so that'll work out good for that end. And now we just gotta do some measuring.
Okay.
What are you two doing? Cappy, can you guys like make less of a mess? Holy crap, look at all the little paw prints. And the water. Jeez. Jeez, all the Hot Wheels been knocked down. Move all these down. That way they don't end up with Pepper. Pepper? Weirdo. Buddy. You guys behave. We're trying to work. I think I caught that on video. Like that Jake's box, Cappy? See, you never throw anything away. That's the chunk we cut off Jezebel's steering shaft.
No shit.
Yep.
You still got it?
Yeah, I don't throw anything away. For that reason. Now, it's not saying this is the same as what Dad wants to do here, so yeah, there's a reference. Alrighty, after much deliberation, we finally figured out where we're cutting. So I had Jezebel's old steering shaft piece, and it was about yay long. You know, it's about, half inch long. You cut off of there. I don't have it with me, or I'll tell you exactly how much it was. And Dad was measuring up to here for his measurements, going off measurements. Well, the one thing that was running in my head was that we didn't know exactly where this pin was because it wasn't locked in place in any which way. This was moving all around and sliding around, slopping around. So we didn't know exactly, but luckily Dad took a measure of 9 7/8 from this weld mark to the gearbox right here. And since we had that measurement, we were able to triangulate, and using space-time continuum's magic, you put 9 7/8 up against that weld mark.
We're goofed up still, because that ain't 7, that's 1.
Oh. So we got to remeasure.
Remeasure.
Yeah, so it's 9 1/8.
And 8.
So then...
And you know you got 3.5 inches of from the face of the steering sector to the cut mark, or to the end of our U-joint. It's
yep.
3.5, and you lose an inch so it'll swallow that an inch into that. So actually we're a 1/4 inch.
Yeah, we're
still off.
Yeah, so you're basically gonna be right at the end of that fucking pin.
Right on the edge of that pin.
Yep.
Why don't we just cut that pin off and try it from there?
That pin's pretty hard, dude.
I mean, right behind that pin.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna put the camera down, wipe all these markings off, do one more measure, and make sure we're right. Because you definitely don't want to mismeasure and cut too much off that steering shaft, especially if you're dealing with a manual steering shaft, because those aren't cheap and they're hard to replace. And welding that back up, no, you don't want to do that, because that thing's got to be dead arrow straight. It's got to be strong. The last thing you want is a weld joint right there on your steering. Don't matter how good of a welder you are, never be right. So we'll clean these off, get her measured, get her chopped, show you more. Recap one more time here. So we have 9 1/8, not 9 7/8. We measured where Dad wants his U-joint, because he actually wants the U-joint sitting all the way down the splines, which is probably the better way to do it. We put our tape measure at 9 1/8 right on that weld, and we know we need 2 7/8 is where we want to have the steering shaft engaging. That's going to put the steering shaft just protruding just a little bit through the U-joint. So you come back 2 7/8, boom, boom, mark. We're going to cut on this side of the line, grind it flat, and we'll be able to slide it on there, drill straight through, put a shoulder bolt, that'll be secured to the U-joint, and then the set screw will dig in to the steering box, which will actually have a little indentation drilled in there. We'll be good to go.
There you go.
Good to go. All right, so that piece is chopped off. Dad's doing a test fit. That's about where he wanted it. Put a little bit of Dykem on there. All right, well, we got Dad's pilot hole drilled in the shaft. Only took you 60 years to get your shaft pierced, didn't it?
Daggone.
Oof. What's worse, your son pierced it.
Didn't quite sound too whoopee.
No, none of this sounds whoopee. But nice little custom dowel pin right there, Dad. I think that'll work just fine. You know, shear strength.
Break it off and bend it over like a nail.
Yeah. The drill bit ought to be fine. It's strong. Strong enough to drill through metal. It ought to be strong enough to hold that together.
I reckon so.
So that's actually fairly straight. You know, got a pretty well dead center. I'm just kind of guessing. And so we'll keep that in there for now. That keeps that lined up where we wanted it. And now we just got to figure out what size bolt we want to run. 5/16 what we put on Jezebel.
Yeah, we'll get a shouldered bolt.
Yeah, and you want a real shouldered bolt, and we'll show you again what we're talking about when we say a shouldered bolt. We're not talking about a regular bolt with this shouldering. We're talking about an actual shouldered bolt. You don't want to use that. So we will get one of them. We'll get our hole drilled to the right size, slide it through, nut it, and that'll be good to go. And then all we got to do is attach that to the steering box and we're good to go. Hey, sure you got on there, Dad?
Yeah, I think
It's like we're twins. You wearing blue jeans and Scott's Beach Up shirt. I'm wearing my blue jeans and my Scott's Beach Up shirt, but I'm wearing a Mopar Performance hat today. Dad's representing Jay. Hang on. Do that again.
Jags.
Maybe you'll get a job working at Jags in your retirement years. Just instead of having a recording, it's just going to be you in this little audio booth, and you're just going to be shouting at everybody.
Jags. When they walk past. Jags.
Yeah, you'll be standing at the front door and be like, there'll be like a little chime that says, "Welcome to
Jags."
Yeah. That's what you'll do in your retirement. Damn. So we're back from the hardware store and we have our 5/16 by inch long shoulder bolt. It's an Allen head. That's what you want. That's what's on Jezebel. Dad, if you do the honors, take that 5/16 drill bit out of there. And that should. Perfect. No slop. That's exactly what you want. And then instead of using a nylock nut, I kind of go front against the nylock nut here because you're obviously close to the header. So we have, what do you call these, top locks?
Top lock nut.
Yeah, let me grab one. A top lock nut, which is
Steel crimp.
yeah, and then that'll just go on there. We'll put a little bit of red or blue Loctite on here, slide it through, then put a little bit on those threads, tighten those down. That's locked together. That's way better and that'll last a lot longer. These things, by the way, cost about $3.49 a piece at our local hardware store. So those shoulder bolts are kind of expensive, but that's what you want. At least that's what we're using. That's what we prefer to use. So, all right, now we're gonna go put this thing back in the car. Make sure everything lines up here. Hopefully our measurements are right. Fingers crossed. And rock and roll. Alrighty, so everything's put back together inside here. It's all buttoned back up nice and tidy. And we got the steering wheel turned so we can access our little guy there, our set screw. I just put it in there, a little pilot bushing hole, little thing with jigger in there. So that way that's biting into something on the splines. A little red Loctite. Dad's got the nut. We'll put a little bit of red Loctite on that bad boy too. You know, Loctite everywhere. Loctite everything. Loctite the world. I got my grandpa here. Stay away from your work. Kill this mosquito here. Wah, wah. Swing this thing around. This nice, beautiful red Charger. Look at that. You don't even have to. You don't even got to try with this bad boy. Infinite levels of reach. So we're almost done. Well, what do you got to say about her, Dad?
Hey, look at how clean that oil stays.
I wasn't worried about your oil. Get out of here, mosquito. Die. I actually like the way that looks. That looks really nice down there. You get your hands out of the way. Look at that. Nice and pretty. You ought to go see how it feels, Dad. Even though your car's sitting still, it'll give you a good feel for how it's going to act.
Tell me when the wheels are straight.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. One more. That's up too much. What? Right about there. Your steering wheel square?
Yeah, it is right there.
Oh, good. Of course, you have to go down the road to see, but how's that feel, the steering wheel?
Did you get this put together?
No, we still got to put the nut on the tack. But how's that steering feel?
That's gonna be dandy.
Yeah? But to show people how easy it is from this angle. You're acting like it's tough.
What do you mean it's tough?
I'm just saying, turn the steering wheel.
I was just fucking doing that.
Like a real man. No power steering. The power steering is right there. Right there.
Am I straight or?
Up. A little more my way. A little more. Let it kind of spring back a little bit more. Yep, right in there. I think that's a job well done. That's $70 well spent. Of course, you gotta get the shoulder bolt and everything, but I think that's gonna work out beautifully. The screws in the tack, the nuts down on the ground, remember? It fell on your face. I'll find it. But there's that. We'll go with that red Loctite setup, so no heat, so no start to Hemi. Not yet at least, but we'll check in here in a minute.